Every 34 minutes, something extraordinary happens. It's not a crime, not a death, or even a baby being born. Every 34 minutes, a wish is granted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is a nonprofit organization that grants wishes to children with life-threatening illnesses. Over 300,000 wishes have already been granted since it was established in 1980. I personally have a connection with this organization. Make-A-Wish is the national philanthropy of my sorority, Chi Omega, and during my time in the chapter so far, we have granted a wish. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is an incredible organization that was founded from a touching experience, impacts the lives of children and their families significantly, and is a cause that is supported in many different ways across the country and even here at UNT. So now let's get back to where it all began. So a 7-year-old boy named Chris was diagnosed with leukemia, and he lived in Arizona, and he was likely going to pass away very soon. So his mother reached out to a friend that was part of the Arizona Police Department and asked him if he could help make Chris's wish come true of being a police officer. The mother's friend was touched and rallied the entire Department of Public Safety, and Chris got the wish granted. He was the first and only DPS honorary officer and had an incredible day. About 3 months after that, Chris passed away. Many of the officers came to his funeral in Chicago, and word began to travel that this wish had been granted, and it inspired a lot of people. It inspired so many people that a group of them decided to get together and form the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Now, as I mentioned before, a wish is granted every 34 minutes, but the impact that that wish has is truly incredible. In a recent study, psychologist Shiv Shani stated that in the past 30 years, there has been an increase in the incidence of all forms of invasive cancer in children and adolescents. While not every wish kid has cancer, they all face a life-threatening illness and are between 2.5 years old and 18 years old. The most popular wish is to go to Disney World, and despite what that wish is, there's dramatic impact seen in the child and their family. Any child facing a life-threatening illness is proven to be suffering from general life stress, and we're even likely to develop post-traumatic stress symptoms from these events, as stated in a paper by Compass, who is a psychologist studying childhood illnesses and their effects. Compass also states that this stress is associated with a higher risk for emotional and behavioral problems that will then interfere with their treatments. As anyone can imagine, being a child and dealing with a life-threatening illness is incredibly difficult, but a positive attitude and optimistic outlook can make all the difference. Conversano, a psychologist who studied the effects of optimism, states that through the employment of specific coping strategies, optimism exerts an indirect influence also on the quality of life. And this is exactly what Make-A-Wish aims to do: improve the quality of life and encourage a positive, optimistic outlook that makes it easier to cope and fight their illness. The study that psychologist Shiv Shani produced regarding children that received wishes statistically proves that wish kids had more hope regarding their future, increased positivity, and increased quality of life, and lower levels of depression, anxiety, and general stress. This then, of course, leads to healthier coping strategies, reduced stress on the family, and an even more willing attitude about their treatment. I personally have seen these effects firsthand through the work my sorority does for Make-A-Wish. So the Chi Omega chapter here at UNT, we most recently granted a wish for a 7-year-old with a congenital heart defect. And when he came back from his wish being granted, he told us that he had superpowers now, and his mom told us that he was doing much better in school, his attitude and his energy was higher, and that just overall she was so grateful to see her son happy again. So these effects do happen, and Make-A-Wish is just a great organization. And each wish cost does vary, but it costs about $10,000 for a wish. And Chi Omega is not the only way that Make-A-Wish has support. There's regional and local chapters throughout the country, and they raise money through different events and donations from other organizations. With over 300,000 wishes granted since 1980, this nonprofit is truly magical. I wish to go, to meet, to have, to give, and to be are the 5 different kinds of wishes and are truly the beginnings of something that will forever impact everyone involved in the process. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is an incredible organization that was founded from the dreams of a young boy named Chris, impacts the lives of children and their families, and is a cause that is supported in abundant ways, even here in North Texas.